Hi, I'm Beth,
Hi, I'm Ashley.
and we're Shelf Care.
So today we're going to dive into Fourth Wing right before the next book comes out.
We're so excited.
So let's first start talking about our favorite characters.
So, do we want to do like favorite overall and then like favorite sub characters?
We
Okay.
can.
I think my favorite overall is, I think Violet. I'm gonna be basic
Okay.
and say she's my favorite overall. Unless the dragons count, and then Taryn's my favorite.
Yeah, they count. They're good characters.
Okay. Taryn is my favorite overall.
Okay. I think I'm kind of basic too, but I love Xaden.
I know.
You know he's my favorite, but Taryn is a really close second, just because he's so funny. I love their banter.
Yes, so that's my favorite. It's not my favorite part of the book, but one of my favorite parts is the banter, especially between Taryn, Sagal. Am I saying that right? Sagal, Violet, and Xaden.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. And then when Andarna gets in there,
oh my gosh,
it's a great.
Andarna's so funny. I love. We'll get into later on the second book, but she's just so funny.
I read a thing that said if you like the quick, like Gilmore Girls, like where they talk super fast, then you like the banter between all of them, which makes sense because they do. I mean, they're very back and forth. Okay, who's your favorite sub characters?
Okay,
let's say top three.
Top three. Well, I gotta say Rhiannon for sure.
Okay.
And I love Mira. She's such a strong character. She's like underrated, but she's a really strong character. And I'll have to say Liam.
Oh,
for sure.
Liam. Yeah. So there's definitely going to be spoilers in this. Just heads up.
So you
know. Because we are just recapping for the new book. I think most people have read this by now, but if you haven't read it, this is probably not. I mean, you can definitely listen, but there's going to be spoilers.
You'll definitely go back, listen to it, or read it, and then come back and watch our video.
So my top three: Xaden, obviously, Liam, and I think that I love him because I've read the next book, but I also love Bodhi.
I love Bodhi too. He's a really good person, and I honestly wish that he was more into it.
Yes,
like I wish he was a bigger part, and maybe that'll come later. But I want to see who he ends up with.
Yes, definitely. And I wanted to like Garrick, because like towards the end we talked about like Garrick and Imogen kind of starting something, so I was kind of hoping that would be in a little bit like more than it was, but then it kind of fizzled out, and then I was over it.
I like it. I think I like the banter between him and Xaden, because every time like Xaden and Violet are like having a private moment in a room, here comes Garrett knocking on the door, and Xaden's like pissed off.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Have you read or have you seen the, I don't know what to call it. It's been kind of on TikTok that says that girls wouldn't be so obsessed with Xaden if they knew he wore skinny jeans.
Oh, but he does not. I mean, it's the writers.
I was like, flight leathers are different, but I did see that.
But I mean, does it? I don't know. I guess I wouldn't really want a guy in skinny jeans, but
I've just decided they're straight leg.
Yeah. Well, I don't even care what.
But yes, wears. I can't picture it.
Like, I can't even imagine. Like, I don't know. In my head, I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, I imagine them like wearing like a whole like skin tight like army looking stuff, you know?
So yeah, I picture it kind of like a Marvel suit, kind of like a fighting suit. But I will say, in that aspect, I don't feel like Rebecca really gave us a lot to go off.
She didn't.
Yeah. So this is all just like people guessing.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the last thing on my mind when I'm reading a book, like
what they're wearing.
Yeah.
But okay.
So what was one of your favorite moments in the book?
Oh man. I would say well, it's not my favorite because it makes me sad. But like I think the best moment in the book is when Liam says, "It's been my honor." Like it just is such a emotional moment.
It is. I still cried. The second time listening to it.
But I am a rereader.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I've read a book twice, like the third time that I read it, sometimes I just want to read my favorite parts.
Mm-hmm.
And so the part that I go to is after threshing. Like I automatically skip to after threshing where she already has her dragon, and I'll read like the end of the book.
Mm.
Which I don't know if that, maybe I'm just weird. Do y'all do that? But yeah, if I'm just like wanting to like read my favorite parts, my favorite part of the book is the back half, which I think that's everybody's.
Which I think honestly the first half is really underrated. Just because this time I was listening to it and I'm like, I missed all these things just because I was trying to get through it.
Yeah.
And you don't really look at like all the things, especially like getting into it when she first got into the quadrant, like just through the parapet. That was a whole experience. And then when she gets in there and she has to learn how to fight because she doesn't really have any training, and poisoning others and just like that. I feel like that was pretty good.
Well, if you think about how far she came from the beginning to the end of the book, it's insane.
Yeah.
Because, like, isn't this just like a semester?
No, yeah. It's like, just a semester.
It's only a couple of months. So, that's wild to me.
So, that's your favorite part.
Yes.
My favorite, I think, has to be in the parapet when Zayden's at the parapet and Violet goes up there at the not the ending of the book, but closer to the end when
at the celebration.
Because it's like the same day that her brother died, but it's also when his dad was like executed and stuff, you know.
Yeah, her brother died, his dad was executed. So neither one of them really wants to celebrate. Yeah.
But they finally made it like official.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was a really good part.
I forget about that. And then her walking on the parapet.
Yeah,
that was also a pivotal moment. Like she's come so far. Oh, that was
and it's funny because I think it was Garrett and Bodhi that were at the end there waiting, and they just end up just leaving.
Yeah, because they both were like, "Oh no, he doesn't want to be," and she's like, "No, I'm going."
Okay, so since you brought up threshing, let's talk about it. So, what did you expect when she was there and everyone was getting a dragon? It had been a couple hours. She hadn't found anybody.
Okay, so I knew that she was going to get a dragon because I mean she's the main character.
How's she not going to?
How is she not going to get a dragon? I did not think she'd get Taryn. I thought she was going to bond Andarna, the Feathertail, and it was going to be kind of like a I don't know, like the little guy, you know, maybe like they were gonna the comeback kid.
Yeah, like they were gonna be weak, but they'd come back stronger together.
So that's what I thought. So when Taryn came down, and it was actually like it wasn't a test, but it ended up being kind of like a test, and he bonded her because she protected Andarna. That was.
But what do you think? Do you think that Sigale told Taryn about it, or was Taryn already there?
I think Sigale told Taryn because Sigale was super close to Andarna. Her and Taryn both, because you know they're mated. But so I think sorry, there's children screaming in the background. So yeah, I think that Taryn came because Sigale called him.
Because Sigale. I was like, was it Zayden that actually did it? That told Sigale to do it, or was it just Sigale on her own?
Well, remember Sigale. I guess Sigale never said anything about it, but when Zayden was defending himself to Dane, he said, "Remember who else was there?"
Yeah.
And so I think Sigale called Taryn just to defend Andarna. And then I don't think she cared about
Violet. Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you think about Violet's accuracy with knives?
I don't know. I was actually really surprised. I mean, she has to be good at something, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's a pretty good thing to have. And I think it'll have to come up. It has to be in like some other part of the book that it has to be like.
I just think that it's strange that she has no fight training, but her sister gave her daggers. Now, I know that the daggers fit better in her hand, especially once Zayden gave her the special daggers. But I just feel like they had to know that she was good at throwing. Or was it a total chance?
Maybe it was a chance. I mean, how could they have known she was a scribe her whole life?
True. But, like, straight off the parapet, she threw a dagger at Jack and hit exactly where she wanted.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe it was by chance. Because, I mean,
yeah.
How else were they supposed to know? Plus, she hadn't seen her sister in a while because her sister was away.
Yeah.
So,
talking about threshing and daggers. So she ends up sending a dagger straight through Jack's shoulder. And she says, I know, like, I can hurt you because I know, like, where all the weak points are because I'm weak. And that's, I guess, to her Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
Yes. So, talking about that, I did see an interview where Rebecca talked about why Violet is like that, and it's because she has that condition. And so she kind of put that into the book. And I think that's a really good way of, like, putting awareness and stuff. And you know how talking about, like, fantasy books, they're all pretty, like, strong and powerful, and having somebody like Violet who has to have all these weaknesses and learn these difficulties, it's different to see that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely love that she has to use her mind and not rely on her strength, because I feel like too often we're, the female lead, as strong and powerful as we love to see, it's a little unrealistic at times.
It is, yeah.
So
that was a good change for Rebecca. Good for her.
I know.
So, talking about threshing and how Jack Barlow got away, since he didn't end up killing Andarna, how is it that he still managed to get a dragon?
So, I don't know. And that really was frustrating to me. But I know they needed the villain to stay in the book.
Right.
Because they weren't ready for him to,
But how is it that a dragon, that there's so much, like, you have to earn their respect and this and that? What did he do to earn?
Taryn did say that Bade, the dragon that he bonded, was bonded very, like, what did he say? Lightly.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't care if they die.
Their bond strength wasn't strong, and so he doesn't care if they die. But actually, Jack didn't bond at threshing. Remember? He was unbonded. He bonded Bade because Bade bonded a different one and they fell off his back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because remember, Jack had to go sit, like, he was like high man on the totem pole, and then after threshing, Violet was. Yeah, so he bonded later. I forgot about that.
I really did too. I mean, I don't remember that part of the book.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jack was unbonded.
Yeah, because he was.
Yeah, because then he was telling everybody else if they killed a dragon's rider, that dragon would bond with them.
And that's why all the unbonded went into Violet's room while she was sleeping and broke the code of...
the codex.
Codex, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, so that is the first moment that we see Xaden actually care about Violet, and more than just our dragons are mated and so I have to keep you alive. Because he gets there. So he gets there. Taryn he wakes her up out of a deep sleep. She's wearing her armor that Mira got her. And so she's good with the swords and stuff, but then by the time Xaden gets there, I mean, she's about to die.
No, I mean, she was going to die, like...
Yeah, and then Andarna stops time, which I'm really curious to see how that progresses in the next couple books.
Yeah, because, I mean, she did it more than once.
Yeah, and I know they say that those powers change.
Because she is...
Because those are her powers, so the signet will be different. But I'm excited to see, because that's a really strong power. So I feel like that Violet's second signet is going to be...
It's going to be... Maybe Andarna is going to be even stronger than Taryn.
Yeah, I know.
That would be crazy to see.
That would be crazy.
And I really like... Well, speaking of that, not that I like this part, but how Xaden ends up rescuing her, kills all the people, and then he reports it during formation.
Yes.
And Dane does not believe her. I mean, I had already started not to like Dane at that point, but that really ticked me off.
To be honest, Dane was on my list from the beginning. Just like his constant, we got to get you out, we got to get you out, not believing in her. I immediately had a dislike. But then at this moment, I was like, oh no, I'm done. I'm done with
Which
Dane.
is just like, are you kidding me? Yeah. Like, and he wanted to read her memories instead of like.
Yes.
And I'm glad that Taryn just shared the memory with the other dragons, which you're not supposed to do. But I'm glad he did that because gotta keep Andarna protected also.
Yes.
But, and then I'm glad that they ended up killing the other girl. The second year.
Yes.
Was she a third year?
No, she was the third year.
Yeah.
Because her and Zayden
she
were
was
both
a Wingleader.
Yeah, she was a Wingleader.
And I'm glad they ended up killing her.
What was her name? Starts with an A. I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Anyway, she ended up dying.
But yeah, she died. And by Taryn's fire.
That was
rough.
I'm glad he did it. And I was like a little annoyed with Violet because I'm like, all these people want you dead. Like, don't fight Taryn not to kill her.
And
like, they literally got all these people to kill you.
Well, and the same guy that had his hand around her throat that didn't die till Zayden's shadows killed him, she spared him at threshing, which Taryn reminds her, like, you already spared one life. Like, I'm not sparing anyone else's. But yeah.
Such a good part in the book. I also feel like because that happened and that causes such a drift between Dane and Violet.
Yes.
And then next thing you know, I mean, she was already avoiding him, but next thing you know, they're sent off to war games.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he do? Do you honestly believe that he didn't know that they were going to go off?
I believe that his dad asked him for information, and so he gave the only information he got from Violet, which was the location of their drops, which is where they were sent on the war games. But I don't think that Dane knew the significance. I don't think he knew about the venom.
Well, I don't think he knew about that, but did he know that they were going to get killed?
I think he knew they were going to be punished. I don't know that he necessarily knew they were going to be killed, but
I mean, what do you expect?
But
how else do you get punished there?
Yeah, he said goodbye.
Which later on it talks about how he was just saying goodbye to their friendship or whatever. But
I don't know.
I don't buy it. Which I'm like, is Dane acting? Or is he actually like coming around to them?
I don't know.
To me, I think Dane is going to come up with something.
I just think that he's so loyal to Navarre. Is that how you say that? Mm-hmm. Navarre. I think he's so loyal to Navarre that we're going to see some betrayal through friendship. Like, I think he's going to stick with Navarre.
I mean, more than he already did.
Yeah.
But
more so. I don't know. A lot of people think Dane just gets a bad rap. I dislike him, and I think he
just gives me Tamlin vibes.
Yes.
Talking about Sarah J. Maas. I always have to bring Sarah J. Maas. I know. But I just think he gives Tamlin vibes. But a lot of people say, and I hate this theory, but that Xaden and Violet got together too quickly, and that Dane or somebody else is going to end up with Violet, which will honestly break my heart. If anything happens to Xaden or Taryn, I don't think I can finish the series.
I have seen that theory. I've seen that the true enemies to lovers is Dane and Violet. I don't think that's going to happen.
I just think that people made up enemies to lovers. Because, I mean, it is kind of, but not really. Because they weren't really, like, enemies. Their parents were enemies, not them.
Exactly. And the deeper you get into it, which we'll go into with our next video for Iron Flame, the deeper you get into it, you see some things that maybe, Xaden wasn't so angry from the beginning.
At least to Violet.
Yeah. I mean, he was angry, but at least to Violet. So, I don't know. I don't think she's going to end up with Dane. Mm-hmm. If she does, I think Rebecca knows that a lot of people would stop reading.
I don't know. I think people would. I mean, I'd say I would stop, but I'd probably still read it just to see
what happens. I know.
So, talking about her friends and her squad, the Iron Squad. Who is your favorite part of the squad?
Who's the favorite of the squad?
Other than Violet, obviously.
I think Riddick.
I just funny.
Love his humor. It's so funny, and he's just loyal.
Yeah.
I think he's as loyal as Liam, except he's just funny. He's not serious.
Yeah, he's just kind of dumb sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
Which honestly, it's hard sometimes, like, reading the book. I'm like, I kind of get Riddick and Sawyer mixed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because they have such a similar personality, it's hard to, like, differentiate.
Yeah. And Sawyer he got held back because he didn't bond a dragon.
Right.
So, I think the only thing that sets them apart, well, not the only thing. Sawyer's not as funny as Riddick, but I think the thing that sets them apart most is because they show Sawyer as, like, more mature.
Barely.
Barely.
I think obviously Liam is going to be my favorite, but I really like Rhiannon. I feel like she's a really good friend.
Yeah.
And even when she finds out, I don't know if she finds out nothing in this book, but anything that Violet tells her or trusts her with, even with the first book, like, she is there.
Yeah.
She is loyal ever since the parapet and when Violet gave her her boot. She has been loyal.
I think that was such a big moment.
It really showed Violet's character.
Yeah, because Violet is very soft. Not necessarily like she's soft and weak. She's just soft as in, like, she cares about people, and when she creates an ally, they stay their allies.
Yeah. And then, talking about Mira, why do you think she gave her that Book of Brennan?
So that she could live.
You think it actually, I mean, I know it helped her, but do you think Mira kind of felt bad just for her going into the quadrant?
I think she felt bad. I think she thought she was going to die.
Yeah.
So she was doing everything she could. But also, she was trying to continue, like, the tradition because Brennan gave it to her. But, I mean, if Violet didn't know who she was going to be up against, she would have died super early. Because, sure, she had that book of poisons. But as far as
who to poison,
yeah. So I think it was a little bit of tradition and a little bit like she just needed her to live.
If Brennan was still alive, what do you think that he would have done to Violet?
When she was going in?
Mm-hmm. Do you think first off he would have let her? Because I feel like he would have had more of a say than Mira coming to their mom.
I think he would have. Because I don't think that any of those siblings would go up against their mother in that sense.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I think that if he had never died, that Violet would have been a scribe.
Well, that's true. If he never died, then her father might not have died, and then she might have ended up in the scribe quadrant. So it's a lot of what ifs.
True. Talking about the marked ones.
Oh, yes.
One of my favorite characters is Imogen.
Yeah,
because she's just so funny. Other than the first time she tried to kill Violet.
Yeah.
On the mat.
But in her defense, like,
her mom did kill her parents.
Her mom was terrible, and Imogen was kind of doing what Navarre does to the marked ones, as far as, like, she was treating them badly based off their parents' sins.
True.
So it needed to happen. But then she helps her work out. She helps her, learn to fight. Mm-hmm. Well, not really, but she gets her stronger. Yeah, I love her. She actually reminds me of someone I know in real life, as far as, like, how I picture her in my mind. So I've got a clear picture of what I think she looks like.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
That's funny. Do you think that Violet's dad is really dead?
So, obviously, we've seen videos from Rebecca that she says that he's dead. I have a feel. So, what is dead? So that's my thing. Like, what is dead? Like, never coming back?
Never coming back dead.
Well, it's so hard for me to, like, say yes to that, because he's so much a part of the storyline, but he's not there. So I'm just like, I don't know. I think he's dead. Dead.
I think he's a Venom.
You think he's Venom?
I think he's a Venom, and I think he's like the top one or something, and that's why they want Violet so bad.
Really?
I don't know, like maybe
because I mean,
he has to come back.
Does being Venom make you evil?
No, not necessarily. I think you already have to be evil. Because I mean, look at. Well, these are all spoilers for the next one. We'll talk about this for the next one. But I don't know. In this book, we didn't really get to are they evil or not.
That's true. That's because true. We just found out about them.
Talk about it. Griffins have the flyers, and they're like half lion, half eagle, I think.
Half lion, half eagle, yes.
Yes. And then we have the Venom who create the wyvern.
Okay.
Who have the 2 legs. And so they create them, but the way that they get powers because they get it from the ground.
Yes. They steal from.
They steal it. So they have to be a little bit evil to steal others' powers.
I think so.
But I think they're evil. I don't know. I really hope that we'll find something else out in the 3rd book. Yeah. About her dad. Or at least find out more about him. Because I feel like all that's talked about is how he just read her all these stories and taught her so much. But, like, what was his character really like?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Especially for him to be with somebody as strong as General Swarrengill.
Yeah, he has to. And especially for her to love him like she did, he had to have had some backbone, some, like.
Because she has such a strong character.
Like, he would have had to be strong to be with her. Yeah, agreed. That's going to be very exciting.
I know, I'm really excited. And I think that pretty much wraps up
I think so
our
too.
4th Wing review.
I think the biggest things that I'm looking forward to are is Violet going to have a second signet? Where's Violet's dad? And who's Violet's end game? I think those are my...
is it indeed? It better be Xaden.
Yeah, it better be Xaden.
It better be Xaden. And I hope she finally gets to ride Andarna.
Yes.
I really hope so. So I hope that's in the 3rd book.
Yeah, and then how is she going to do it? Does she just switch off?
If one of them dies, I'll be pissed.
Yeah. And does she need to saddle for Andarna and Taryn?
Well, I think Andarna's getting pretty big.
True. Well, she will once she...
I think she can't really stay on either.
We'll see.
All right.
Well, we'll see you next time when we review Iron Flame.
Bye.
Bye.